Hello my YouTube friends, here we are for a video that is a kind of long overdue video. Yes, long overdue, because I had this knife now for a couple of months, and for whatever reason when I received it I didn't do the video about it. I skipped it and along the way, you know, I scored other knives and made other video, and for whatever reason I didn't do the video at that time. And it's probably better because at that time probably the content of the video would have been really totally different than it's gonna be tonight, and it would have been more of a reviewing than an actual review, which this one hopefully is gonna be, if ever I'm trying to get some sense of my thoughts, or actually to put my thoughts in words. Yeah, that would be great. I would appreciate that, and I would post actually this video. So what do we have? We have here a knife coming from Dalibor Bergam, who, for those of you who don't know him, is a Croatian custom knife maker in the market. You know what? I just happened to talk to him, and I just learned that he's in the market for less than 3 years, which has to be the most amazing thing, because in such a small amount of time he managed to perform a craft and an art somehow that you can find for makers that are here for years and years and years. So I think that this guy is a genius. That's what he is, probably a genius. So what do we have here? First of all, this knife is an integral. So you all know for sure, and for those of you who don't know, I'm gonna take a minute to explain what it is. An integral for sure is one piece of titanium milled inside, and then you have the cut here. So basically, you know, it's a frame lock with, that is done in one big piece of titanium. Then look at this beautiful work that it does. Well, you know what? Let's go back to the integral. Not a lot of people can master the art of integral. It is really hard to obtain something that is gonna be, you know, that you know, will be well, that will have, you know, nice mechanics inside. It is hard to achieve a nice integral. That's why not a lot of makers try to do that. You have, I don't know, Peter Ascenti, you have for sure Dalibor. In France you have Jérôme Hover. So to me, you know, and also, you know, you have one production brand, Line Steel in Italy, but they're more of a production brand. But real custom knife maker, without CNC, without nothing, I would say Dalibor and Jérôme Hover in France. And now I think also, yes, definitely also Gustavo Cecchini in Brazil also does some integral, but I couldn't tell if he uses CNC. Probably uses CNC. But real custom would be Dalibor and Jérôme, at least the one that I know. So yes, that's a nice feature to have an integral. Now look at this beautiful work on this integral. You have this really nice pattern. How do you call that? I don't know, rock pattern, whatever. I'd have to ask to Dalibor to know if it has a name, but who cares? The most important thing is that it's not only beautiful, you know, this contouring here on the handle, and this perfect anodization with a lot of shades of, I don't know, black. It's a kind of vintage, you know, bronze with shades of black and some purple somewhere, some blue here. Very, very, very nice aspect of the anodization. But you know, Dalibor, sorry about that, I need to take some distance to open the knife. Dalibor is a guy that does a sturdy knife. So as you can see, this one is a sturdy knife, but it's not only sturdy. How can I say? This knife is probably one of the most versatile knife that I have in my collection, because it can do probably anything. You know, if we're talking about sturdy knives, say die wares, sniper blade work, crusader forge, I don't know, those knives, you cannot carry them. I mean, that would be, the use would be, you know, for law enforcement or military, but you wouldn't think of those knives as EDC. This one can very well be an EDC. And as a matter of fact, during those two months, it served me perfectly well. First of all, it can be an EDC because, you know, the overall weight, I don't know the specs, and again, I don't care, but I would say that the weight is reasonable for a sturdy and a big, and look at this big blade that you have here. So it's a reasonable blade. I mean, having it in my pocket, I don't have a balance in my pocket, I don't have a scale. What I have is the feeling, and the feeling is that you can carry this knife. You have enough room in the pocket to put other things, and it doesn't bother me to carry that. A Dalibor, it bothers me. A big DMF from Sniper Blade Works, it will bother me. Crusader Forge most definitely will bother me. This one doesn't bother me in the pocket. So that's because of the handle mostly, because it's a one piece, it's an integral, so it can be sturdy as hell, and yet being not that thick, as you can see here. It's not that thick, and this you can have that because actually it's an integral. If you had to put, you know, a slab of titanium, another slab, and standoffs and everything, that would give you probably way more thickness to get the same sturdiness. Then that's the handle. Then, sorry, I really need to take some distance. You know, now you need some time to break a Dalibor, but believe me, this one is already broken. But since, you know, I'm filming with one hand, I don't have a lot of distance, so the action might be sometimes not as smooth as it is. So I said here the handle was a part of the way that it's a knife that you can really carry perfectly well. The fact also that you have this curve on the handle and this big choil here makes the ergos perfectly well for the carrying hand. Look at that. When you hold that knife in hand, I mean, it fits perfectly well. That's just insane. The feel in hand is just excellent. And it's, you know, the contouring, as I said, Dalibor does his knife for a use. So this not only gives you a nice aspect, but it gives you some grip. You know, if it's plain, you know, it can be, you know, slippery like that, but this one will definitely give you the grip that you need for a perfect purchase and perfect grip. Then for not for combat, but for some, you know, cutting task, this jimping either on the handle here and on the blade is one of the most effective. So you have the jimping on the handle for that grip, you know, and you have a front choil. So if you want to do some cutting, a small cutting task, you can either put your finger in the choil, then your thumb on the blade, on the jimping on the blade, and believe me, this knife won't go anywhere. Sorry, the grip is just absolutely excellent. And you have some jimping here, which, you know, has not real purpose unless you put, you know, this reverse grip. But no real purpose really, either than prying probably. But if you're in the combat, you don't want to put your thumb. Actually, you don't want to be in a combat situation. But if ever you have to, the thumb has to be far from this place. But I don't care. This jimping is very effective and very useful. Then you have other jimping here for the lock bar, but we're gonna go back there a little bit later. So as I said, as an EDC, you know, this handle is, yeah, that's it's done perfectly well. The grip is well, and also, as I said, it's not that invasive in the pocket. So yeah, that makes a really nice handle for EDC. And of course, I'm talking EDC here, but as I said, that's a versatile knife. So it can be a tactical knife. It can be, you know, the closest thing also to a fixed blade, because this is so sturdy. Look at this pivot. I mean, this pivot is the biggest. I was about to say one of the biggest, but that's the biggest pivot I've ever seen. So then let's go to the blade, which is the most important part of this knife for sure. That's the blade. Every knife, the most important part is the blade. But this blade, I wanna say a couple of things about it, and really to congratulate and to pay tribute to Dalibor for the ingenuity that this blade has. That what makes this knife also for me really special is this carving. I mean this blade shape overall. So I'm gonna address some points. Now, first of all, it's the tip. Look at the tip. I mean, it's pointy as hell, and this tip is a thruster like you can imagine. This blade will penetrate anything. Look at that. Look at that. That's a point. It would be the point that you have on a spear, almost, and it is a very penetrating point. Then the thickness of the blade here makes also for a prying. I mean, if you have some prying tasks to do, this is absolutely perfectly done. Then here you have this big belly here for slicing tasks. And believe me, my friend, Dalibor uses his hands, not machine, his hands to get an edge like you couldn't imagine. Literally, this edge is razor sharp, and it's a perfect slicer. So a thruster, a pry, a slicer, this blade shape is just absolutely excellent. So yes, my friend, you have here a very versatile knife, a knife that you can use for most of the tasks, and that's what Dalibor wants actually. He builds his knife to be useful, as I already probably said, I'm ranting, but useful in most situations, outdoor situation, combat situation, EDC, whatever, you name it, this knife will serve you well. And not a lot of knife can give you that kind of versatility actually. So yes, now let's go to the lock. Here is your locking, very early engagement. Very nice. And as I said, here the jimping makes for a very nice, reach to the lock bar, no stiffness whatsoever. Yes, as you can see, the blade doesn't fall by its own weight. That's because Dalibor don't and hopefully will never use bearings. He wants his knife to be like that. I mean, in a real life situation, you really don't need, bearing. This knife, as I said, is made for a multitask. So if you want to have some dirt and some dust and everything, this won't go into the bearings, and it would be very easier, again, in a real life situation, you don't need the bearing, so you don't need to have the dust, you don't need to have the blade falling like by its own weight in a way that can be dangerous. So yeah, it's on washers definitely, but yet you have a detent that is really great. And the action, this knife, you need to take some time to break it. Now mine is almost done, and now the action is very smooth, and I love that. I love this thumb opening with oval holes like you can have on Striders. I love this way of opening. As you know, I'm more of a flipper guy usually, but I absolutely love those oval thumb hole. So yes, a knife that I can really recommend, and I don't need to, because Dalibor has got a list long like my, I don't know, I wouldn't dare giving any comparison, but he's got a long waiting list, and anyone that ever hold this kind of knife in hand knows that this is quality, and you all want to have probably a knife from Dalibor. Oh, I forgot to mention that the blade steel is CPM 3V, which has to be one of the best steel rust resistant. I mean, one of the best steel you can find with S90V. Those are my two favorite blade steel. Also, this having a nice hand rub like that on a 3V, it's very difficult. tip up carry, we are heading to the 15 minutes that I decided not to go over. Hopefully this video has been informative for you, and I'll catch you very soon, my friend, for another video. Bye bye.